Well, welcome back to another fresh episode of the Daddio Show. Come on now, listen. I'm too excited to even really be here right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this episode because I said I would, and I love you guys. Friday we are scheduled to be induced, and so the baby Ison-Bowman will be entering the world and joining us. I'm Harding Ison-Bowman, and I got a couple dogs back here. What's up, puppies? What's up, puppies? That's Beanie and Lexi, aka the Mole Killer Troop. This is a continuation of a series that I started back before episode 19, I think, and it's around employability and being self-employed, right? So two different pathways to make your difference, make your splash on the earth, and the skills and the mindsets that go into being successful in one or both of those pathways. And we've set the stage pretty well, talking about being self-made and being self-employed has its great freedoms, but it also has great responsibilities. And then the things that tend to limit someone's success in the employee pathway because they don't have enough of the perspective of the self-made, self-employed person who started the company that they work for or what have you. So it's good to see side by side both of those lifestyles and kind of compare as we go along. I think that's very useful. It keeps you in check. It keeps you real about what the other half of the world is thinking and doing and seeing, no matter which side of the fence you're on. And from a beginner point of view, maybe you're a teenager and you haven't really entered the workforce and tried to get out there and stake your claim to success or develop your skills and start to carve a pathway out for yourself. This is a great starter crash course on the things that you should be considering before you really jump in head first and start to make a bunch of moves without proper training and context behind what you're doing. So, all right, today the topic is add value. All right, so the concept of adding value, I feel like it's an overplayed, overused buzzword, and it's something that you hear a lot in personal growth, which used to be called self-help. It's the section of the bookstore where people check out a book or a magazine to try to improve themselves, right? And we here in the U.S. of America are big on, we are going to power through any lack of sleep, any hardships, and just put in more reps and get out there and hustle and grind, hustle and get it done. We're not big on rest and recovery. And we're a little bit lacking when it comes to teamwork skills as well, I would say. So when you hear add value, it's normally talked about by people who have some sort of growth mindset. They're trying to improve and get better all the time. They're trying to bring a high quality service or product to the marketplace. They're trying to climb the ranks of their company or whatever. And they're trying to, in every situation, leave it better than they found it. Whether that's working with people, working with processes and things, what have you. So add value. It's a little bit overplayed, and I think we forget to go in and actually break that open and define it and go through the pieces of what that means to add value. Add value. Value is a very abstract, just sort of wishy-washy word when you think about it, because what is value? Value is whatever is considered an improvement or something that is wanted by the person who's thinking about it, right? It can be different for you or me. Adding value to me right now might be bringing me a grilled cheese sandwich, okay? But adding value to you right now might be giving you a ride up the street, or it might be introducing you to someone because you want to be in a relationship. It can be taking over a few of your chores that you don't have time to do. It can be showing you how to make more money at work, adding value. What do you want? You have to kind of know what you want and what's going to be wanted and considered helpful by yourself or others before you can figure out what is valuable, what is going to be valuable in order to add value. Hope that makes sense. Drop in the comments if you're watching this online, if you're watching this on YouTube, wherever. Drop me a comment. What is valuable to you right now? What would it take for someone to add value to you in your life? All right. So, first question for adding value: what do other people want? Okay, if you're going to be someone who adds value in situations, people are never going to see it when you add value to yourself. And if all you ever do is increase yourself, improve yourself, look out for yourself, and take care of number one, then no one is ever going to consider you a person of value, right? A person of value is one who adds more value. It's hard to use the term without using the term, right? It's a little bit cliche, but we'll go through it. A person of value is typically one who increases and improves and helps others, right? Nobody cares if you're helping yourself. I mean, you should help yourself to an extent, because it's like that old saying on an airplane: if there's a crash coming in an airplane and the oxygen masks drop down, you should put your own mask on first and save yourself, because if you don't save yourself first, if you don't take care of yourself, then you won't be able to do a good job of taking care of others, right? Some of us need to hear that too, because we are almost to the point of guilt, focused on taking care of others type of person, where we don't take the time and the energy left over at the end of the day. All that's left is just nothing after we've taken care of everybody else, and we forget to take care. We don't set a priority of taking care of ourselves. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to just leave ourselves out high and dry and not take care of ourselves. But for the purpose of this discussion of adding value, you do want to get outside of what you want, because most people are more selfish and self-centered than selfless. And they need to hear that message of get outside of what you want, man. It ain't about you. It ain't always all about you. So get outside of what you want and serve the owner or serve the client. So let's say you're working for a guy and he owns a company. He's producing a product or a service to sell out in the marketplace to customers, and he needs to employ you, right? He needs to hire people to make his life easier and to take over some of the things that he would have to do if he was the only one doing the company, because he can't do it all. He needs help. He needs a team. He needs people to come in and ideally see what he wants to do to make the most successful plan is have people take over things that he's not naturally good at and that they're better at it than him, right? So like, if part of the business requires making phone calls and he deals better, the owner deals better with, building the inventions and producing the prototypes and stuff, then you would be helping him out greatly and adding great value to his business structure by taking over the phone stuff. Hey, I love the phone call thing. I don't know if you like being on the phone or not, but I like it. And I'm starting to get pretty good at it. I'd like to get better at it. And if that would be helpful to you and your company, I'd like for you to give me more responsibility in the phone department so I can do what I think I'm strong at, and hopefully take some of the burden off of you so you can focus on doing what you're good at. And that way we all succeed as a team. Products get sold, everybody's paycheck gets paid, we all go home and eat. So serve the owner in that way, or serve the client. Maybe you are the business owner and you need to think about, what does the client want? Okay, the client doesn't just want a great job of having someone cut their grass, but they want it done not just neatly, but they want it done regularly. And they want to be communicated with, right? You can't just show up out of the blue and cut grass. You need to tell people what's about to happen, tell them what they want to know, figure out how often do they want to be communicated with, what are the things you're going to need to talk to them about to make sure that there's no surprises for them that they don't want to have. And you have to be regular. You have to show up week in, week out without missing any of your mowing, right? So serving the client it's your responsibility at the end of the day. If you're the business owner, if you're the guy who's self-made, self-employed, it's your company idea. Nobody is going to take care of that client more than nobody's going to feel more responsibility. Let me put it that way, right? Because you're the one who's invested your blood, sweat, and tears, and money, and effort, and ideas into it. So nobody else on your team is going to feel the weight of that responsibility more than you are. So really, you should be modeling that and constantly trying to figure out how to help the client out best, right? How to help the customer out. What do they want? How do they want it? When do they want it? How often do they want it? And what's going to stop them from going to the competitor and just hiring it out from somebody else, right? What's going to help you get their sale and keep their sale? So, okay, so and then so there's some relational things that you can do to add value. There's maybe you're better in the customer service side, or maybe you're better in the systems and processes side. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, do you work better with people or do you work better with things? Would you rather work out the numbers and organize the way something is run? Or would you rather be face-to-face with human beings and do customer relationships, right? So these are some things that you should ask yourself to figure out what you're good at adding value on. But also, it's all about what the other person thinks is valuable, right? If I'm throwing all this valuable stuff that's valuable to me at you, but you don't think it's valuable, then I'm not doing either of us a favor, if that makes sense. So adding value is all about correctly understanding what the other person wants and what the other person thinks is helpful and what they really need in that situation. And a lot of people are terrible at asking for help, and they don't even know what to ask for if they do have the opportunity to ask for help. So part of it is being patient and helping people work through those layers of all right, I know you're stressed and you're going 90,000 miles an hour, but if let's take it one thing at a time. Let's go through all the different things you're tied up in and see, is it worth your time to explain to me how to help you do one of these things better so that you can finally let go of it and have some peace, right? A lot of the stress of being the self-made small business owner is that you're doing everything and you're obsessed with controlling the quality and the outcome, and so you're scared to let it go to somebody else. And yet the more you hang on to all the different little moving pieces, it's like trying to juggle too many things. You can only juggle so many things before something splats, right? But you're too scared to let go of any of them because you've got these control issues because nobody cares as much as you because it's your old baby. So people who are in that situation, a lot of times it takes patience, but if somebody can come alongside them and figure out and help them question, what, I know I can't do it all. This person keeps asking me how they can help. All right, I'm gonna have to pick one thing I can let go of and train someone else to do this and outsource it, right? Okay. Beyond what do other people want, another thing is what does the situation need? And so there's great value sometimes in being part of a team where you look around and say, that was an interesting meeting there because the owner was talking to the designers and they were talking to the customer service people and the sales people. And the way that meeting, that chain of communication happened, it wasn't that efficient. It didn't make sense the way, the order of conversations and who started with what point and how they made sure it got done and checked back and, the follow-up. So maybe you're someone who has some leadership ability or sees things in systems and the big picture of how the moving pieces of the team work together, not just the moving pieces of the product or service or one single department, but how things work within the whole company or organization and the whole dynamic between the company and the client. everything. You can see it all and how it moves all and fits all together. Maybe you're one of those people and you're asking yourself, how can I improve the system that they use to operate? It's cool they have a product, they're making enough money to keep going in business, and they're profiting, and they've got some customer relationships going, they've got some repeat business going. You know, people keep coming back for this chicken sandwich. But what if we could, you know, cut down the cost of making the chicken sandwich by building a better relationship with the product, with the ingredient supplier, and also train our people at the window to speak to the client, to the customers in a way that got them through the line faster and made their orders more correct more of the time. I can see how that all fits together, and there's a few training points that I could, there's a few ideas I could share with the team, and it would fix everything, right? So you may have a point, but here's my caution. If you're that person who thinks that way and has those big picture ideas, you've got to understand that it all goes back to that same little golden rule I mentioned before. If it's not thought of as valuable, if the other, and it may be that, the owner of the company would be glad to hear it, but just not now, not this month. And so if you push that owner to stop and listen now when the timing is not right and your mind's not open to hearing it, then you're just going to have people push back against you. You're going to irritate them, possibly offend them. You're going to seem like that person who's rocking the boat. And it's going to cause people to dislike you, right? And so personally, that may not bother you that much. You may be a very, very agreeable person. You want to please people and you want them to like you. And that's one thing. But another reason to try to not make it where people dislike you is that it starts to chip away at your ability to have a positive influence in that team, right? So, if you play it cool and just start to sense, okay, they may not be ready to hear this right now. Now's not the best time. If I just pull back and save it and don't create this bad taste in their mouth where they're, where they're thinking, you know what, he really just rubbed me the wrong way there. If you can save it, play it cool, and then the next time when you sense the opportunity is better and the timing is better, then you won't be fighting against this bad taste you left in their mouth from before, right? Because people will remember that stuff. They may not even remember exactly what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. And if you make people feel pressured or rushed or, like you're trying to make them listen to something that they're not ready to hear, it may be the greatest idea in the world and their life would be so much easier if they would just hear you out and put it into practice and consider it. But if they're not ready to hear it, then they're not the right person to hear it, or it's not the right time. So you may as well not burn the relationship and burn their future desire to hear you by trying to force it now, if that makes sense. All right, so that's enough for now. That was how to add value, how to think about adding value. And if you want examples from other types of workplaces, or maybe examples from a family environment instead of a work environment, this is kind of the whole employability, self-employed versus employee mindset training series here. So it is workplace focused. But, as we wrap up, I want to encourage you guys to ask me questions, contribute your feedback. I'm always looking to learn and grow. And, I'll wrap it up by saying these considerations of getting outside your own head and figuring out what other people want and how to help them is what's going to give you a timeless advantage, right? And robots can't do what you're going to be able to do if you master those skills. And it doesn't matter if you're in construction or technology, computer programming, whatever. You're going to have to work with people at some point along the process. And no matter if you like the people that are across the table from you or not, it serves you well and it serves them well, and it just improves the whole situation and just causes a better outcome with less damage to the relationships and people getting a better result that they can enjoy, and just greatness going on, you know? It's hard to really achieve that greatness of the process, greatness of the team, greatness of the product or service, you know, greatness of your growth as a person on a team, leading others, following others, collaborating with others, whatever. It's hard to get that greatness level if you don't develop this ability to figure out how to add value, add it in a way that people can receive it and use it and not be offended by it, and not try to take too much credit for it. Just let it be about serving the situation at hand, serving other people, and partnering with greatness. All right, young champions, that's all I got for you. Harding Ison-Bowman, check us out, partnerwithgreatness.com. My name, Harding Ison-Bowman, is the YouTube channel where I'm putting the visual versions of these podcast episodes. The Daddio Show. Hope you and your loved ones are enjoying these weekly mentoring blasts. You know, pass this along to a young man, a fatherless young man. Pass this along to a community mentor who wants some resources to share with those he serves. And hope this has been a great blessing to you all. Take it easy until next time, young champions. I believe in you.